The working group regulation, as the name already reveals, is focusing on barriers for regulation. Regulation for the take-up of both storage and flexible technologies. But it's not only about technology. It's also about all surrounding processes and mechanisms that can hinder the uptake. And we're obviously not only looking at the barriers, we also provide best practices and recommendations. Those best practices, they're coming from EU projects, from pilots, from demonstrations, and from research by a lot of partners from several countries. If we then look at what exactly is the working group doing this year and the coming years, we focus on 6 areas. First of all, we want to improve market access for consumers. What are those barriers that hinder consumers to value their flexibility? Secondly, we're not only looking at individual consumers, we also zoom on collective flexibility. What is the role of energy communities and what are the barriers that hinder the take-up of those energy communities? And what can be the role for the grid if we have more energy communities operational? Third, we're also looking at the market design as a whole. So how can we improve integration and coordination to really have this integrated European market? Fourth, we're not only limiting to electricity, we also look at different sectors. So sector integration, sector coupling are very important. We also look at gas, heat, thermal storage and hydrogen, and how do all those vectors work together. As a fifth focus point in the working group, we look at how we can support the grid and system operators to prepare for the grid in 2030. The grid action plan is, for example, an important element where we would like to contribute. And finally, you cannot talk about regulation, markets and flexibility if you're not talking about data. So we also look at those regulatory barriers that can hinder the use of data, and one of the focus points will be the development and deployment of European data spaces.